Design.
We going all out for the sake of our future. We going all out for the sake of our parents. We going all out, say no more to 2020. We going all out, yeah, yeah. Yo, kami pahlawa ilmu.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. I'm the speaker for today's Parliament session. The Ministry of Education will present 3 programs based on the budget that has been allocated. 10 minutes will be given to each of the program to present the objective, purpose, outcome and the budget. Then I'll provide 5 minutes to the opposition to ask any question regarding the program presented. So I hope everyone in the Parliament session can show your respect by not interrupting the presentation. For this morning session, we will start the presentation with YB Subangjaya and YB Keluang. You may proceed.
Thank you, Yang Dipto Mahfuz. I am YB Ammar as the Keluang representatives. My fellow representatives, as the global environment has demand for the competitiveness and also the productivity, it is crucial for us to have the competitive students that complete with high ability of skills. So in order to realize that, the Ministry of Education has come up with a program that called as the Jenis Belian program. My fellow representatives, so what is the objectives of the Jenis Belian program? So in the Jenis Belian program, we have 2 objectives that we want to achieve. First is we want to enhance the resilience among the primary and secondary school students. This is to ensure that the students will be able to compete in the competitive environment in their schools, in their universities or in their future job. Second, the objectives of the Jenis Belian program is we want to create the youth community that complete with leadership skills and high of intellectual. So from these objectives, we will able to produce quality students that will help Malaysia to transform the country to become an advanced nation. Young Deputy and my fellow representatives, the Jenis Belian program has 2 purposes. First is we want to improve the soft skills among the primary and secondary school students. By focusing on improving the soft skills of the students, we will able to create the productive students that complete with skills such as leadership skills, good communication skills, and the ability to work in a team. Next, the second purposes of the Jenis Belian program is we want to cultivate various good moral values among the primary and secondary school students. As we know, the moral values are usually learned by the students in the class only, but in this program, we seek to encourage the students to employ the moral values such as teamwork, intellectual independence in their real life. So this eventually will help to improve the ethics of the students that involved in this program. After that, we go for the stages of this program. So in the Jenis Belian program, we will have 3 stages. First is the theoretical stages, second is the planning and preparation stages, and third is the practical stages. So in the Jenis Belian program, they will only involve the primary and secondary school students. So in the first stage, each of primary and secondary school will have to send a student to represent their school for this program. So there will be estimated around 10,220 students that will be involved in the first stage of this program. So the first stage of this program will be implemented at the state level. So the selected students will be gathered at the capital city in each of states. For example, if it is in Johor, so the selected students will be gathered at the Johor Bahru. So in the stage 1, we will have the camp-based intervention activities for 3 days and 2 nights that seek to enhance the moral values of the primary and secondary school students that involved in this program, such as teamwork, independent and intellectual. So in the first stage, it will be monitored and handled by the officers of the special committee that create under the Ministry of Education in every respective of the states. Young Deputy and my fellow representatives, so in the second stage, we will choose the best among the students that involved in the first stage for the national level. So in the second stage, there will be only 39 students that will be selected from each of 13 states. So in this stage, there will be activities that will prepare the students for the third stage, such as we will have the talks and briefing sessions in order for the students to understand clearly about this program. So in the second stage, the students will have to prepare the projects that they want to organize in their own states. So the project will be based on the welfare, where the students can plan the project for the elders in old folk homes, the OKU, the orphans, the homeless, or to the indigenous group people. In this second stage, the students in the Jenis Bilian program will be guided and monitored by the special committee under the Ministry of Education in terms of the progress of the projects or the financial resources needed for the project. Finally, in the third stage, the 39 selected students will implement the project that they already planned at the second stage. So, the 39 selected students will go for each of 13 states to implement the project that they already planned. So, all of this basically to ensure that we can nurture a sense of compassion and build good personality among the primary and secondary school students that involved in this program. Next, I will give times for YB Sarah to explain in depth about the Jenis Bilian program.
Thank you YB Keluang for the explanation. So I will continue into explain deeper about the impact, outcome and also budget for this program. First, the impact of the Jenis Bilian program is that it will benefit around 10,000 students more in the first phase that will gain the experience and increase their knowledge about basic education.
YB Subangjaya, is it possible to handle program?
YB Sufi,
Yes,
YB
Tuan
Sufi,
Speaker.
please mute your microphone and respect the parliament. As I said, I will provide the time needed for the Q&A session. Let YB Subangjaya and YB Ammar speak to finish their presentation first. Thank you.
I'm sorry for interrupting the parliament.
Okay.
You may proceed.
The second phase of this program will give input to specifically only 39 students that will be selected to be part of Jenis Bilian committee. It's not easy to become the only 39 student from 10,210 more students, but this allows us to focus on the 39 students and make it easier to implement and to ensure that this program could be impactful, which will benefit each one of them. Next, the outcome that will be gained from the Jenis Bilian program is giving the exposure to the selected Jenis Bilian committee. They are able to know what a leader should do and could increase their knowledge, skill and ability, which will be beneficial for future use to develop themselves and for them to adapt with the new surrounding in the university later on. This community will be monitored and guided to become a leader of a caliber nation. Furthermore, we will look forward to the budget. Total budget that will be allocation for the Jenis Bilian program is around 5,203,950 ringgit. It is divided into two which are operational and development budget. For the operational budget, the emolument for the special unit that will be ensured the successful of this program is around 307,200 ringgit. This amount will benefit to the 18 workers of the special unit. In the phase 1, the total that include is the training module that benefit 10,220 students, the budget for the participate, accommodation, which is food and necessities, the allowance for transportation, and also for the temporary staff that will be handled in the phase 1 for every state. Its amount to 3,825,000 ringgit. In the phase 2, the total budget allocated is 21,525 ringgit. This amount include the module for Jenis Bilian committee, which is the 39 students from all over country. It is include the budget for participants, allowance for the committee, and allowance for the transportations. In the last phase, the amount that will be accrued is 109,500 ringgit. This include the budget for the participant, such as the cost of accommodation, clothing, food, and allowance for transportation and participate, and cost of the public transportation, which is bus. Okay, we will go through to the next part, which is development budget. As for the development budget, in this Genius Brilliant program, the amount allocated in this program is not that much as the operational budget, because this program will be done annually, but there still have a certain budget need to be allocated, which is need to use for office utilities and office equipment that amounted to 75,000 ringgit. Other than that, there are also one-off payment that will be given to 13 states to improve their welfare infrastructure that amount 110,500 ringgit. In addition, the bigger budget will allocated for this program is scholarship scheme. Genius Brilliant committee that meet the requirement only will get these sponsorships. This is amounted 702,000 ringgit. Will benefit and help them to continue their study in the university. The sum up of the total development budget, which is about 887,500 ringgit. So that's all from today from the Genius Brilliant program presentation. And if there have any question, you can ask after this.
Thank you to YB Subang and YB Kluang. Now I open the Q&A session. YB Sufi, you may proceed with your question first.
For my question, it is possible to handle the program in price 1. 10,220 is not a small number, and too many states are involved.
To answer question from YB Sufi, yes, why not? It is because they have a person in charge in every state that will be helped by 3 temporary staff. In addition, the program will be handled with a skilled event management that will be there to make sure the program will run smoothly. So, that's all.
YB Kluang, how the Genius Brilliant program can contribute to the national result framework?
Thank you for your question, Yang Berhormat Pasir Salah. So to answer your question, the Genius Brilliant program contribute to one of the strategic thrusts under the 11 Nation Plan, which is to achieve and advance human capital development. So in the Genius Brilliant program, we seek to improve the soft skills of the students, which this eventually will contribute to the productivity of the labour market in the future for the nation. So the Genius Brilliant program will clearly contribute to the national result framework.
Alright, if there's no question, we will take a short break. Then we will proceed with the second presentation from the Ministry of Education. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. We will continue the session today with the presentation by YB Mahfuz and YB Rifhan. YB Mahfuz and YB Rifhan, you may proceed.
Thank you to the speaker. My name is YB Mahfuz from Batu Pahat, Johor, and my partner is YB Rifhan from Kota Baru, Kelantan. We are the representative from the Ministry of Education. Today, we want to present a program called RAID, which stands for Rural Areas Infrastructure Development. The main reason we've come up with this program is because of the issue of lacking facilities in the rural area schools. Basically, the main objective of this program is to improve the school facilities in order to meet the current 21st century learning approach. The function of the RAID program is to cultivate competitiveness and critical thinking among the students. The target group of RAID is the rural area students and the teachers in Tongat, Sabah. It is to ensure the students in the rural area are well equipped with an adequate and comfortable facilities as other students in urban area. Therefore, no one will be left out and they could enjoy the new advanced technology according to the current demand. When the schools are equipped with an adequate facilities, the students would feel comfortable throughout their learning process and it could boost their motivation to study. For further information of the program, I will pass to YB Rifhan to continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, YB Mahfuz. So as we know, the facilities at most rural area schools are old, insufficient and outdated. So this RATE program will be divided into two phases, which are short-term and long-term phase, to provide the students with new and adequate facilities for them to use. For the short-term phase, the plan is to upgrade the basic school facilities to be more environmentally conducive for the students to learn in school, and this could be done by providing them with new chairs, tables, fans, whiteboards and air conditioner for the office. As for the long-term phase, the RATE program aims to build new buildings in the schools to replace the buildings that doesn't have enough or good facilities for them to use. For example, the ministry will provide them with new buildings for new classes, labs, workshops, library, canteen and offices to ensure that there will be enough facilities to be used by the students and teachers at Tongguk Sabah. This way, we could provide a suitable and a more comfortable environment for the students and the teachers itself, which they need for the 21st century learning approach. Alright, moving on, the total allocation for the RATE program is 2,629,035 ringgit for both operational and development budget. Firstly, the total allocation for the operational budget for this RATE program is 1,429,350 ringgit. It is basically a short-term phase, and we will focus on improving and providing schools at Tongguk with the new facilities that they need for the learning process. Firstly, we have the salaries of 10 workers for 5 schools in Tongguk for about 1 year, and that will be amounted to 810,000 ringgit. For services and supplies, there will be 5 lorries driver allowance for 200 ringgit each driver, and we will also provide 50 whiteboard for 5 schools amounted to 10,000 ringgit. Plus, there's also charges for the 5 lorries, which will be amounted to 850 ringgit. As for the asset, we will provide 300 chairs and tables for 5 schools amounted to 352,500 ringgit. There's also 200 fans for 250 ringgit each and 1 air conditioner for average schools amounted to 1,000 ringgit each air conditioner. So that will be 1,429,350 ringgit for every expenses that I have mentioned.
For the development budget, the RATE program allocate 1.2 million ringgit for the long-term project implementation to provide a facility building. The cost of each facility building is 15,000 ringgit. 5 facility building will be available for each school in 3 years, which costs Rm 240,000 ringgit. The other 960,000 ringgit is the cost for the workshop and the science lab equipments, which cost 64,000 for each school. This sums up the total of 2,629,350 ringgit for both operational and development budget for the RATE program. To be concluded, we are very sure that this program will manage to meet its objective with the time and budget given. Thank you.
Thank you to YB Mahfuz and YB Rifhan. Now I will open the Q&A session.
YB Batu Pahat, may I ask
Yes.
you some question?
Yes, YB Zua.
Why do you choose Tongguk as the target area for this program? Why do not choose other places? Why there are many places in rural area need to be improved in terms of infrastructure? Why do you choose this place? I'm just curious about that.
YB, be quiet. This is our station, not circus house. We have rules. Thank you.
Everyone please calm down. We choose Tongguk Sabah because a research has stated that it is the second poorest district in Sabah. So we want to improve and provide the students there with a new and up-to-date facilities for them to use. As there are only 5 schools in Tongguk, it will be a good start for the RATE program to help those living in rural areas. Am I answering your question? Yeah, I am.
I have a question for YB Rifhan as a Kota Baru representative.
Yes. What is it?
Why do you make a program that focuses on facilities when there are so many programs before? Plus, there's a lot more issues that need to focus right now.
To answer your question, maybe Ammar, we choose to provide the facilities at Tongguk Sabah because it is one of the rural areas that we want to focus on. We want to make sure that both rural and urban area are getting the same fair treatment. So we start with Tongguk Sabah. Even though there's a lot of programs of providing facilities have been done before, not all of them are successful. So we would want to make sure this great program are going to be successful, so we could implement the same program to the other rural areas in this country.
Alright, if there's no other question, we will take another break. We will proceed later today with the last presentation from Ministry of Education. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. We meet again today with the last presentation by the YB Adib and YB Sufi. You may proceed.
Thank you for the speaker. Today, my partner YB Adib from Pasir Salah and me, YB Sufi from Tasik Lugo, will explain about our project. The project that we as a representative for education want to do is the e-learning modus operandi Agenda 21, that also known as e-learning Mopia 21. This program is inspired by the Revertris IT solution, which provide a wide variety of the digital marketing service to all business industry, which can be the platform to raise the income through the media social. The objective of this project is to build the educational application that compulsory for the student to do the learning, while will be the platform to earn the money or reward from it. The aim of this project is to enhance the effectiveness of online method of education among students through the competitiveness in learning. The target group that we have already selected is about 80,000 university students, which specialize to the UiTM students. The first activities of this e-learning Mopia 21 project is to improve the student ability in learning, as they can control the lecture video while learning. The students are also be able to interact with the lecturer virtually through live video, so they can get better understanding about the topic. Next, the student also can access to answering the question given as exercise using the same applications. After that, this project also helps to educate students by interpreting through the lecture video by using these applications. Those lecturers can interpret their lesson systematically through video, which help to minimize the time consuming of the teaching season for each class. Lastly, for the fourth activity of this program, for this project, it can help to generate side income through online learning. This can be obtained through the completing the task given of answering the exercise of tutorial question after watching the lecture video. It will encourage the student to be willing when wants to study by their own efforts without instead being forced by their parents.
Thank you, YB Sufi. Therefore, I'm as the partner that represented for this program also will explain about the further information that important related in this program. For information, this program is to provide the online method of education by creating its application. Therefore, it is, as for the purpose of this application, it is to provide effective learning for students, especially during the disruption of this pandemic of COVID-19. Thus, it also leads to provide various methods and wide platform for learning through the video recording and live streaming, which can help to smooth the teaching and learning process for both lecturer and students. Not only that, but this program would be helpful to those who extremely face the difficulties, especially in getting the money through the pandemic, as this application also provided with the reward instead of the learning, especially for the students. However, through this function, it will be agreed to have its own management. Thereby, it also provided with the control center that will monitor the management of its system to be well progressed and systematically function. Furthermore, to achieve a better outcome and the effectiveness of this program, there are about 2 stages through the implementation of this program that can be looked at the short term and the long term. So, for the short term stage, this program would be beneficial for the students as it provided with the accessibility of learning through the watching lecture and live streaming with their lecturer. In addition, it also provided with the exercise as well as encouragement with the rewards that will be given periodically through the completion of the tasks, such as answering various types of questions in terms of multiple choice question, true or false question, and question, as well as question for the short and long essay. Thus, for the lecturer, they can use this application, which helps to encourage for better learning to the students, through which uploading the video lecture and do live streaming with their students. Meanwhile, for the long-term stage, it involves with the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia and Ministry of Education that aims to provide good and systematic management through 4 years implementation that represented by Control Center, which will act as the customer service and ensure to communicate with the staff directly. The outcome that can be looked from this program is it made the process of online education for students will be easier, especially it will be helpful during this situation of pandemic of COVID-19. This program also enhances the better management of the students to learn as provided with the encouragement through the rewards. This is because the students will get the input from this program as well as money through the rewards that distributed periodically. Thus, this also gives the opportunity, especially for attempt students, to proceed with the learning throughout the semester as well as be able to complete their studies. All of these are related with the purpose, phases of implementation, as well as the outcome that can be achieved from this program. Therefore, I will pass to the YB Sufi to explain the operational budget that has been prepared for this program.
For the operational budget, the e-learning Mopia 21 project allocate about 1,471,900 ringgit. This is including with the emolument of the 10 staff for the 3 office, which about 1,200 per person. The emolument for 12 months about 432,000 ringgit. Meanwhile, for the service and the suppliers, is about the reward the student will get, which 4 ringgit per person. This reward only be given for the 3 months. For 3 months for 80,000 students only, which total about 960,000 ringgit. Next, for the asset that related with this project are the office equipment, specifically the 30 computer for the 3 office, which total about 60,000 ringgit, and the internet service in 1 year for 3 office is about 40,400 ringgit, which each month of the internet bill are about 400 for 1 office. This project also provide prize for the 4 diligent students that about 1,000 each. This project also gets sponsorship from the Rivertrees IT Solution, which about 1,500 ringgit. The registration of this application is free. Next, my partner will continue about the developing budget.
Thank you, Abi Sufi. Moreover, this program also had prepared with the development budget, which about 1.8 million ringgit that indicated the expenditure which involved with the long-term implementation up to 4 years. So, firstly, the budget that can be looked is from the services and supplies, which this is in terms of the utilities, which the budget is prepared for about 259,200 ringgit. Thus, this also includes the asset which can be seen through the office building and the equipment, which the total budget for the asset is about 1,540,500 ringgit. Besides that, for the grant and the fixed charge, it also includes the bonus for the staff worker, which will be given about 16,000 ringgit. Therefore, the average total of operational and development budget for the e-learning modus operandi Ajidan 21 is about 3.3 million ringgit. So, that's all about the information for this program of e-learning modus operandi Ajidan 21. Thereby, it is hoped that the explanation for this program initiative has been clearly conveyed. Thank you.
Thank you to YB Adib and YB Sufi. Next, we will move to the Q&A session.
May I ask the question, your speaker?
I have a question too.
You may proceed first, YB Mahfuz. Then YB Rifhan will continue for the second question.
Alright. My question is to Mobile 21. Why you choose UiTM student as your target people?
To answering YB Mahfuz's question, we choose UiTM because this project is first time be done by us and we need a small circle of people to test it. We see UiTM as a good choice because it has many franchises in all over the country, and UiTM will become a good opening before we upgrade it to a big circle.
3. So my question is, why do you guys choose to provide to only 80,000 students instead of providing it to all? UiTM students? And is it relevant to be implemented, as we know that there are more than 80,000 students of UiTM students in this country? Thank you.
Okay, first of all, this program or application actually will be provided to all the UiTM students that can use this application to continue their online learning as usual. Besides, the user number of half of UiTM students is in terms of the rewards, which we choose the target as to enhance a better competition among students in learning through this method of online education.
Alright, thank you to all of the representatives for the great presentation. Since the clock has shown 1 o'clock, I adjourn the parliament session today to the next meeting to discuss more regarding the program. Thank you. Betul? Betul lah.
Tak apa, kau langgar skrip pun tak apa. Kau langgar skrip pun tak apa. Tak ada hal.